Thank you all so much for being here. It's really meaningful to me. Just 2 years ago, I was such a baby fish in this pond and knew no one, and it's just incredible to be here today. So thank you. All right. Yeah, thanks, Justice. Yeah. And also want to thank my co-producers at the Playhouse, Christian, Jonathan, Jacob, Tel, Person Kronos. Okay. Now, the hope is that everyone will use their voices. We want to create a space where everybody has the ability to share. Obviously, there's a lot of people here, so time is of the essence. So please keep your shares limited. Also, just being mindful and respectful. We do work in a industry that there are things we need to be discreet about, so please keep these conversations close to your heart and be authentic and present. And if you can't be, that's okay, but the door's right there and no one will judge you for leaving if this doesn't feel like your cup of tea. Please do, and Luke laugh. Okay, so the questions we're gonna start with. Who are you? What do you do? And what aspect of the conference are you most curious about, or what do you want to uncover? And anyone is welcome to start. Any takers? Yeah, go for it.
First question is really hard. I don't.
What's your name?
My name is Sakar. Was Arabic.
Who are you, what you do, and what are you curious about?
I suspect many of us are here because we wanted to know who we are, so I think that is a difficult question to answer.
But what I do is I run an accounting practice. Can you hear me?
You'd speak up a little bit more. Oh, yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sakar. I'm still finding out who I am. I run an accounting practice, and we have a personal interest. I have a personal interest in seeing this space open up, and I'd like to do my part to keep everyone working in this space safe and secure, and get the IRS off your back if we can.
Hey. Yes. Love it. Anything you're curious about of the conference?
Abundance is all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very telling.
I am. This is my first time at this conference, and I'm just curious about the different ways in which we are approaching this space. I'm excited to hear about everybody's ideas, whichever way we approach.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And just so everyone understands a little bit about the format, we're going to do just a few people sharing with this question, then we'll move on to something else. And the hope is that these questions will spark interest, help you learn something about someone that you might not have gotten the opportunity to connect with. Everything moves so quickly, so we're starting the conversation here. We're starting the level interest. Anyone want to go next? Go for it.
Hey everybody, my name is Rico. I'm the owner of Twin Flames Mycology. We created the Liminal Mushroom Lab, which is a fully colonized research kit for mushrooms. We felt that's important that people have the opportunity to grow their own medicine on a very easy entry-level scale, to be able to sit with it, learn it, and not have to go through all the things that I did when I first learned how to patent the vape. So we just want to make it as seamless as possible for others to get into growing their medicine. One thing that I'm curious to see is just how everybody else is helping their communities in their own way, and how that it's beautiful to see that there's so many different modalities and ways of going about it, and that's really awesome too. So curious to see how real things actually discovery.
Thank you for being here. Anyone else? Go for it.
Hello, next. My name is Dr. Brian Damaris, or Dr. Pashing. I have a company called, what is it called? Wise Integration Synergy Experiences by Experts for Empowerment. So after being a doctor for 25 years, or not after being, but through the process, I've created nonprofits for homeless youth, for 27 different indigenous tribes, and really try and find that balance between the service and just being present, and serving the community and being myself. So here I'm giving a talk tomorrow on the Killing Divine Masculine, working with the elements, and you are the one you've been waiting for. I also, one of my big projects, I do large-scale art projects for Burning Man, and I was doing one for Pride this year called The Portal to Becoming. Basically love letters to our younger selves, like what we tell ourselves when we were having that day or that hour or that year when you're like, you weren't sure, yeah, it was worth it to go forward or whatnot. And it's also going to be an online portal so people can to contribute around the world, but then also tap into it when they're having it that day or that minute. So, and I'm just excited to be here with District 216 and be here.
Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else call?
Alta.
Go for it.
Hi everyone, so I'm Katie, and I am a psychedelic leadership coach. And I came to PS23 with an intention to figure out what my role would be in the psychedelic space, and that's where I found an organization called Being True You, and then became a certified integration coach. And most recently, in the last week, I got hired as the partnership manager to manage all of the partnerships with ketamine clinics. So working in ketamine clinics about the importance of craft and integration in the space with their clients. And I'm so curious right now because the universe just keeps like handing me all of these beautiful things right now that I am so open to see what this week brings and continues to receive. And I'm so grateful to be in the space with all of you and to everybody who's put this space together. I hope we all have a magical and beautiful week, and so keep good.
So I'll go next because that dovetails is my day job, which is I attended some of the trials, interest trials against Google recently, and also e-draws, anti-justice trial against Google's monopoly. I've been bringing that up for public awareness in my day job, which is economics. On that, I appreciate. We also get a study on like censorship, bipartisan, lots of different ways, and stuff that. That's for day job. But I'm also here as a member of the board of the Psychedelic Bar Association.
Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, with the Psychedelic Bar Association. So we're a membership-based organization for lawyers, both who work in the psychedelic space already, but also lawyers who are engaged in inquiry about what does it mean to be an adjective psychedelic lawyer, right? So like how do we rethink what it means to be a lawyer in this space?
The reason we don't hear very well here is there's a fan going on, and so it's got a group of people right here. So that's why we're asking people to speak out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I have one.
Yeah, go for it.
I've come here because I was invited and I wasn't aware of this my first time. And it's been organically growing a seed in my head of why I'm here. You always know that there's some reason that you didn't really think through entirely. And I work with refugees a lot in Atlanta. And I have a roommate, an ex-roommate now, but she's Burmese and she works in mental health. And she works with her Burmese community in mental health issues. And I'm thinking about how to introduce this into firm that she's doing with the refugee community, because we have the largest per capita population of refugees in the country outside of Atlanta, in a town called Clarkston. There's more per capita of resettled refugees there and dealing with very difficult mental health situations. So I'm thinking this is why I really am here. And I appreciate Caesar for inviting me and showing me how to get here. That's what I thought. Thank you.
That's such important work.
Yeah.
We've got time for one more person to share, and then we're going to move on to the next one.
I'll share.
Go for it.
My name is Maya, and I work as the house therapist, and it's a little bit of a different angle. So in public health, we use the language of wraparound support services, and I do psychedelic work myself. And integration is a big area, obviously, for people to do work in. So for people who are looking to elevate their domestic experience and work within the home, I work with skeletons in the closet, literally, figuratively, from decluttering to a full-blown home remodel. And so, yes, there's construction and there's general contracting, all of that, but really I'm having the dialogue with the client around changing the way that the house functions. It's got to be fully functional. It needs to be regenerative. It needs to be restorative. And the blocks and the trauma that come inside the house when trying to do that work. General contractors, subcontractors, and homeowners have a lot of trauma. Don't talk to each other very well, and it's not a very smooth process of all the time. So I'm trying to bridge that gap as a sort of wraparound support for clients who you can get blueprints and downloads all circle long, but you have to come in with your life in your house. And so rubber meeting the road, I can provide a lot of services in that direction. So I'm curious, I'm always curious about how the integration plan happens, because that's really where the long-term change happens.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, we move on to our next one. We started a little bit late, so we're gonna go maybe 10:15 over. Everyone's okay? So for those of you that haven't spoken yet, this is your opportunity. What are you in service of? What kind of support can you offer to this community?
I'll start on that one.
Okay.
My name's Kyle Rosner. I'm Lucky to Be one of the co-owners and community builders at a psychedelic content site called Reality Sandwich. My service to the community is, again, having this awesome platform where we've got a lot of great readers there, and being able to share everyone's experience, storytell for causes we truly believe in, support this emerging and coming out of the light community. So super proud to be able to offer that to everybody. A lot of familiar faces here on the platform, either with an interview or contributed content. So we just love to tell everyone's story here, and we have a safe place to do that. Did I hit all the points there?
Yeah, you did it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now I'll repeat them. What are you in service of, and what kind of support can you offer to this community? Please.
Hi, my name is, I'm going to set this down for a moment. My name is Steven. I am a brand scientist. By day and by night, I am the lead explorer at a sacred and theogenic church in Nashville called Prisma. And so my main job used to be helping grow Fortune 500 brands using science. But what's interesting is the flip side of that, the autopilot that we use for marketing is the healing and theogenic side that we use when we're healing with plant medicine. And so that generative side is the opposite of that, and yet there's still ways that we can use those responsibly, ethically together. And like somebody else already said, there's a way that we be cautious about what words we say. So my forte is creating brands that resonate and align and authentically share who you are, what you do, why it matters, and why you matter to people that matter most to you through kind of authentic resonating brands. And so my main role here is to step into my birthright as an engagement practitioner. But I keep having conversations with people who need support. They see the Prisma.energy website and like, oh my gosh, how long have you been around? And so they say things, and I hear that they have many of the same challenges. And so my desire is to support people authentically express who they are and what they do and what they want to do, so that they can spend time doing healing, working with clients, and let those visual and verbal communications authentically represent themselves.
I hear myself so much in here, so thank you for sharing that. Wow. Meaningful work. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Please.
My name's Kimberly. It's nice to meet everyone. I stand for empowerment and healing and a new way of approaching that in a retreat center model. So I'm the co-founder of Nanda Lodge, Costa Rica with my husband, who's a retired firefighter paramedic. And our model kind of takes the retreat center model and flips it on its head. We prioritize our healers first, then our staff and our guests, and we only take 8 people per retreat so we can provide really deep radical care to each individual that comes in before, during, and after the retreat. So this was not on my radar to come to this conference. I was actually in the middle of an ayahuasca retreat, but it was brought to me by my mentor, and I'm really happy to be here to meet people doing important work. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name's Kevin Lanzo. I am in service of the psychedelic industry overall. But more specifically, I really have made it my goal to grow the intersection of psychedelics and and medicine, the practice of medicine, through clinicians, really figuring out the logistics of how we take the regulated side of psychedelics and bring it into the clinic in a sustainable way. Through clinical trials is my personal consulting business model, helping clinics to find deals with sponsors, figuring out how to actually execute psychedelic clinical trials, and working on the startup side of things to help these new companies to build clinical trials go through the FDA pathway. But I've also found that healthcare providers, in particular pharmacists, which I am, don't really often has an idea that there's any other way but being stuck in the current practice of medicine, which is so often just addressing symptoms and not addressing the root cause of health problems. And so for me, psychedelics represent a way to really get at the root causes of mental health problems, which often are the root causes of physical health problems too. And that by making healthcare providers aware of this alternative view, then we can really change how medicine is seen overall. So I try to integrate all of those things into my work and spread through advocacy and education to politicians and other healthcare providers. So just grateful to be here, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
My name is Sharon, and I'll piggyback off of that. I'm a nurse by trade. I came into this space like 5 years ago, having grown up with indoctrination of like the war on drugs and the DARE program and leaving all of that, and then experiences like, oh, it's realized I have been lied to all this time. So I came to psychedelic science 2 years ago, wanting to contribute in some way, but not knowing where I was going to land. And I decided to land on writing a comic book that for the to educate healthcare practitioners on. And I have some here. If you guys would like one, I have a couple here with me to give to you guys. I'm also going to be at booth with open nurses, and I'll have more comic books there. The proceeds for them will go towards helping fund this documentary about the psychedelic years since been around forever. Because we're out there, most medical professionals are very rigid in their thinking about things, and what I've experienced is that you kind of have to hit them with like science-based stuff to get them to listen to you and to get them to come over to the other side. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's like really basic. Do you know about serotonin? Okay, let's start there. And kind of hit them with a little bit of science. Mostly about mushrooms, but there is a little bit about other compounds here as well.
So, yeah, happy to give this to you guys. So we're, is some questions?
Follow the Mushroom Nurse Collective. Yeah. I'm the Mushroom Nurse on TikTok, and then the Mushroom Nurse Collective on Instagram.
Thanks. Yeah, and you can custom out at.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Sorry, Greg.
No. I want to comment.
Okay, fine. So I guess the service I'm providing, I'm also new in this world. I sort of recently stepped in, but I started to realize I'm an architect, experience designer, and service designer by trade, and I started to realize that the environment we're in is as much a part of the medicine as the medicine itself, and no one's really paying attention to sort of an evidence way of approaching our environments or set the setting. So not in our research and the work that I want to do is really go about designing environments that is based in, I mean, obviously not just science, it's the psychedelics more than science, there's ritual, there's source kind of stuff around us, but really think about how we design the environments from before the actual dose itself all the way through to integration in a very mindful and very considered in sort of evidence-based way. So I guess that's the service I can provide, is really sort of just work with therapists, guides, even people at home, sort of to really create those environments where they can really discover true transformation or deal with whatever it's in to deal with, or just have some fun, really. That's the kind of thing. So then probably agree.
Well, I'll just, since we're kind of in the same boat, and we met at a one of the psychedelic mixers online. We put in a room together. What a blessing that was. Because what do I have to offer is in that same world. And the question that I keep asking, my name is Justice. I have two things that I'm offering to the community. One is my story, and that involved giving my third grade school teacher mother, who had a rare form of Alzheimer's, psychedelics over 4.5 years to the end of her life, and taped it and witnessed miracles months and months over years, and we were largely silenced by the medical community. And I can't wait to share that story, because this community needs to know this information. But it exposed a need that I saw in the infrastructure that's going to be necessary for these medicines to really take hold, and that is exactly what she was talking about, which is a setting. I was having to host quarterly psychedelic sessions, that would last 6 to 7 hours with a woman who didn't often know who I was. So what nature wasn't really an option for very long, at least, and inside has its own challenges, and we needed her to be up and moving. And with all the wonderful ways that we're seeing this medicine show benefit, from neurodegenerative diseases to, of course, psychological, and even performance enhancement and creative problem solving. I mean, there's so many great uses. And how I want to help is by providing a space for practitioners to come in and host those journeys using the tools of our time. As in the same way that our ancestors used the tools of their time to create the experience for that session, I say, why can't we also have full spectrum sound and 3D projection and aroma and things like that, and then combined with technology to sort of make it safer. I was trying to make it safer for the boomers who might be very concerned about taking medicines like this, but with the addition of wearable technology, we can now monitor them in ways that we never thought would be possible. And then the hope is that the setting, which is largely driven by music and experience, will start to open up the market for this to really be scalable. So I want to see this medicine used and done so with intention, and
we're gonna do that.
But just add to that, by the way, design is harm reduction. So I think it's really important that we need to really design the environments and not just have a beautiful backdrop. That it's gorgeous, obviously, but there needs to be considered it really thoughtfully.
Yeah, and I see it also as what I'm creating at least is an experiential jukebox. Something where practitioners can create an experience for their person, and artists, the musicians, as well as the interactive artists can create libraries of experiences that they then can receive royalties on. And in my vision of visions, it's this open network of a wellness platform where we can all be participating in creating programs and building communities, which is really well written.
Thank you so much, Justice. For those new people that came in, we got some prompts, and we'll do about 3 more people. Questions are, what are you in service of, and what kind of support can you offer to this community? Can you play? You have to go. Okay. Feels pretty.
I just have a plane to catch. It's not because I'm only to listen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll see you in a minute.
Yes.
Now I've got this brush. We got amazing.
Yeah, let's go.
So I was in a lecture about legal stuff. So it seems like there's so many people doing things in like the research, so many people doing things in the legal stuff. It's all super important. But that lecture reaffirmed where I feel called in the space is culture shifting, particularly in like first responder communities, because it's all like, we don't talk about this stuff, right? Because it's like frowned upon, it's weird, it's all that. But I think when the culture shifts, the legislature and the FDA and all that stuff will follow. They'll have more pressure. So I think what everybody's doing, the culture part of this is really cool. No, that was that. I kind of forgot the question, but I think that answered it.
What are you in service of, and what kind of support can you offer to the community?
In service of the cultural shift within first responders, and what I can offer is just not being afraid to talk about it. And I heard someone today make a really, really cool analogy. She was lesbian in the closet for a long time and finally came out, and she compared that to what it is like for people that want to talk about psychedelics but they're afraid because there's all this stigma and shame around it. So she said it felt kind of the same. So and when people come out of the closet like that, it inspires other people too also. So I think that's a really cool parallel that she made between that. So yeah.
Thanks. I have that in my mind, that day that I came out of the psychedelic closet to my family. It really allowed me to live my true, authentic life after that. It was like beginning.
I just want to add something to that because my mother, I exposed to her at her church that she was doing mushrooms because it was helping her. Here I am, I'm the zealot. I'm like telling everybody, she's afraid that I'm going to go to jail and all these things. And right around COVID, when we were starting to being allowed to go back into church services and things. This one, as we're all leaving the church, we're talking to people that we know. And some of my mom's friends will ask how she's doing. And we had just done a session a couple days before, so she's still good. And she was like, oh, how some days you just feel better than other days. And I'm like, she did 2.5 grams of mushrooms yesterday, right? She was stuttering. Now she's fine. Blah, blah. We were all in masks because it was COVID, and her eyes get like this big, and she's like looking around. She didn't talk to me for 2 days, and I finally, approached her about it, and I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "I finally know how you feel."
Look at me. To have a secret that you don't want anybody else to know about. And it's still, and I was like, wait, what? About you being gay. When you told my friends that I did these things, that I didn't want anyone to know about that. I was like, yeah, but it was helping you. But it humbled me in that moment, because she said, oh no, this is what that's like, by the way. And it was one of the more difficult things about the whole process with her, because she had no one to share it with, and except for me. And I can kind of talk to her through her weird trip moments and things like that. But you know, it's not a small thing, the ability to have a conversation, especially with the generation who grew up with it. If they were on the other side, or which, you know, somebody hears my name is Justice, they're like, oh, we're family hippies. I was like, the opposite. Right? No, we didn't do any of that. So, you know.
Thanks for sharing. Got time for one more person to answer that series of questions.
I'll answer.
Go ahead.
I'm Mike. I'm in service of solving problems, and my day job is a data strategy consultant, mostly for enterprise. And I think I'm dressed like that right now, which I'm second guessing. And I think what drew me to the profession of data is the way that it can simplify really complex things and tell stories and help people see things objectively. And when it comes to integrating the power of medicine like this and the convergence of this medicine and our legacy medical system and technology, the importance of having everybody speak the same language is really important. And that's where data and quantifying things plays a role. And often, you know, data can't capture like the emotional stories and the qualitative aspects, but when it comes to gaining widespread adoption, which is what trying to get an enterprise adoption technology is all about, that's a space where I can see myself contributing. So I can offer that perspective and that services, at least from how you integrate new things to old ways of thinking and the way that they can accept you. So yeah, excited to be here and get inspired over the next few days.
Well, thank you. Shen. Okay, so our next question, we've got about 10 minutes left. How might you integrate psychedelic practices into your work? So, of course, many of us have had psychedelic experiences that have changed our lives in really meaningful ways, but I encourage you to think about how they've impacted their work, day-to-day job, or your business ideas. What new things have they sparked for you? What change has been made in your business because of the work that you've done?
Start?
Okay.
Yeah, it resonates with me a lot. I worked in a large company previously, Genentech, big biotech company, and you know, I had this steadfast belief before. This wasn't before I did psychedelics. I had tried psychedelics many times since college, but realizing that changing society through mega corporations isn't the only way to do it, and realizing through psychedelics that not only can working with startup companies and people closer to the ground be like a way to actually start a movement, but it feels much better to just be around humans doing things in smaller communities. And then starting my own business as a consultant, psychedelics really helped me to become clear on my mission and vision, what I want to bring into this world, and to cut through all of my own illusions and just bullshit, and realize what inner work I needed to do in order to move from the mindset of an employee to the mindset of an entrepreneur and a founder. Yeah.
And
I'll share briefly. So for me, doing work that I did, there was a barmaid that felt not sick, but felt taken actually advantage of because I was helping. By the time I would get paid 90 days out and you get paid 10 or 20,000, they would be implementing to their teams and making millions. And so it was really hard for me to reconcile that I'm helping these businesses grow. And for me, training plant medicine helped me shift my perspective to saying like, wait, I can find people who align. I can still use my same skill set, but I can use it in a way that helps and aligns with those clients. And that I'm truly helping them do what they feel put on this earth to do. And even if that's for a season, even if that's earth, or their lifelong calling, you know, a moment, a kind, a season, or lifelong. And so, so shift happened for me. I used to work with kind of like CMOs in these marketing. Well, wait, what if I shifted and I helped just a different, else I hate the word audience, in full cell reductionistic, but people who align and resonate. And so there's people who want to start churches and they don't know how. There's people who have psychedelic or plant medicine related businesses who need assistance in these other areas. And so I was able to really shift just how do I get all these parts of my kind of like cards work, but for my business. It was these other pieces to align. And this is not a pitch, this is just telling you what happened. It started saying like this, saying what I shifted and I could help these people in these three ways. You know, helping them start churches, help build their documents, help them with their brand, help create infrastructure and tools that help their business run so that they can be healing. And so it took a long time for me to really kind of like the squirrels in my head finally do all the thinking and catching up and integrating into my life. Where I was finally at peace with saying like, oh, what if I develop a new thing? What if I develop a new focus of my branding agency and not even call it an agency? Just call it a partnering service or just kind of shifting language. So it really was a focus for me to change the language I used. The people and coming to places like this and stepping into that was really big. I'm autistic and I would really like to stay at my little kitty cottage where I rescue cats, and that's easy. But to get on a big scared plane and then come here. So it's great stepping into that. And so everyone can continue to step into that to an altitude. And so I hope that's encouraging. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I could relate to that, which is, I know, be quicker, but seeing my corporate 9-to-5, like managing job, and I thrived in that place where I was being the corporate person that needed to tell people what to do and who's to jump through, what to eat. But what I loved was connecting with the people and helping them to find ways to do it where they found enjoyment in it. And that's where when psychedelics came in and I took a step back and I was like, I'm helping people. That's what I like to do. I don't like to help them. I like to help them. And so, actually, when I watched that trip, they kind of like pushed me over the edge. It was like, get out of there, start doing this on your own. And I don't know what that means. Right now, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I was with Rico. He was like, this is a networking thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to network. But I'm happy that I started the church after coming out of ayahuasca. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I don't know what I'm doing with any of this, but I support all of it. And every single person in this room, and want to hear stories. And I give thanks to Psychedelics for all of that. That was my stuff.
Yeah. Stephen, I have so much to talk to you about. I am like, this is what this space is all about. Like, I don't know that I would have been able to hear what you had to share in the context of the craziness of the conference. And that's why I want to create spaces like this for us to really drop in and hear the magical things that each of us are doing to contribute. And this is intended to start the conversation. So take the things that you've heard here and continue that. So I have space for 2 more, and then I'm going to share a little bit and answer these questions. And then I also have some house for y'all to continue these conversations after these speaker is over. Anyone that hasn't shared yet that feels called to? Otherwise, floor is open. Go for it.
So I was having a conversation upstairs earlier about like trying to find the balance between like presence and living your passion.
Speak up a little
Oh yeah, sorry. Upstairs I was having a conversation about like living your presence, living your passion, and paying the bills and finding that balance and stepping out of the 9 to 5 or in my case the doctoring job. And really, we're building bridges by coming out as whoever we are at any time. And one of the biggest things that's going to be a part of the talk tomorrow is having the courage to be vulnerable, having the courage to just be ourselves in all the regards. Like after all this, I found it. Like I was the one imprisoning myself. Like I was the one causing myself to have any of the friction I had by just not listening to my higher self, which was shown to me with all the different medicines. And so tapping into that, remembering to remember who I actually was, and then holding loving space, like not judging, but just holding, being a mirror, and doing it in all the ways. And like I do artwork that has like, you are the one you've been waiting for, so someone can see themselves in that piece, right? And just us being vulnerable and having the courage to speak, or the courage to not speak, or the courage to just say, I need space, is so cool. And then to come in community like this, a community is a superpower where we can, like when we feel lost, we can come and be a brother, sister, like, let me sit down, let me hold space for you, And specifically for men and all men, I mean, gay, straight, I'm a gay man, but to hold space where we can all be ourselves, where it doesn't have to be sexualized, it doesn't have to be anything. We do program so much. And just to give into the love, to give into the light of being present with each other, giving each other the gift of presence, I think is the biggest thing we can do for each other. And then just, go from, everything else kind of unfolds from there, but following your bliss. And that will take you wherever you need to go. And just realizing that everything is so divinely perfect to be right here with all you guys right now. So, the super excited.
Can I go for Wales a little bit?
Yeah, within like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think the main thing that I want to say is that I feel like this community has been burdened with a hell of a lot of shame. And it fucking sucks. I feel like, I feel it. I'm scared a bit because I've talked a lot about psychedelics professionally and it doesn't pan out. I just know there's recruiters that are not gonna ever like reach out to me, and probably quite a few because of it. And it just sucks because it is unfair, and it's what we have to deal with. But I am encouraged. I'm really blown away for this reason, if any reason, and that's, God damn it. I've met a lot of people who are genuinely loving and have become instant friends. Like instant friends with people over fucking Zoom, dog. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And when there's stuff like that present, shame doesn't have a chance.
And if you make friends with people that fast not doing psychedelics, you may be autistic.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, I feel really called to answer all of the questions that I've asked, and I hope that's okay. Who are you? What do you do? I kind of already answered that. I'll go over it briefly for some newcomers. My name's Carly Dutch-Greene. I'm the founder and creative director of Studiodelic, the first design and branding studio dedicated to businesses in the psychedelic industry. Really living in reciprocity to all that the medicine has given to me. My background is in conscious marketing, design, and art direction for some of the world's leading spiritual teachers, helping them create their brands, find their voices, and market their online courses and themselves to the world. It's a very delicate thing to do, to market conscious, intentional content, material, brands, products. Speaking to the choir here. See. We had a bit of a breathwork and cacao ceremony with our team. I'm co-producing the Playhouse. Hope you all can come tomorrow as well. Hit me up for a discount code if you haven't got your ticket. And we were asked in the ceremony to think about like the conference a little bit, what we wanted to bring and what we wanted to, how we wanted to be and show off. And for me, it was love. Like love just kept coming up for me. And I was thinking of something my brother said, which is, it's all love, baby. And when I think about, I want to attract clients or meaningful connections or new friends or new love, it's all love. When it all, for me, it all comes down to that simple word. And so that's what I'm really curious about at this conference, is the love that everybody has in themselves, the work that they do, and their why. And let's see, what am I in service of? I'm in service of the people that have dedicated their lives to psychedelic medicine. Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's my calling. And to be honest, like Alex, I didn't think for a second about making my whole life and business about psychedelics. I respect that. And when you said it, I had a little bit of a twinge of like, oh shit, what if I have to go back out? If the job market. But then I was like, no, this is my highest calling. This is my divine purpose. This is why I was put here. And I have to keep moving forward in this path. So yeah, I feel really confident in that. What kind of support can I offer to this community? I can offer my training as a designer, as an art director, as someone who helps people express themselves, go through their words and visually, whether that's in graphics or copy, helping them create marketing and strategy for their business to help them be seen. And for me, psychedelic practice, gosh, I feel like life is psychedelic at this point. Every day I feel like there's moments where I can just kind of tap in to the meaning and the messages that I've gotten from my journey. So, yeah, I feel called to be complete in my share. And I wanted to give you all just a little bit of guidance as you continue in the conference. A couple different questions that you can ask people. What are you working on and what's on the horizon for you? What kind of collaborations are you currently seeking or would like to pursue? And how could you ask for or provide support to others in their efforts? And I am happy to text those to any of you or share them, or you can take a screenshot and photo on my phone. But these are questions that I've found in facilitating the Psychedelic Professionals Networking Club for over a year that have sparked some incredibly meaningful conversations and created some really, really special connections and made a lot of change in this space. Thank you all for being here. We're going to close this, and I hope you've all found this fruitful, and we'll continue these conversations after. So thank you.
Oh.